Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today, I have a Umidigi A7 Pro, which is one of the newest budget phones on the market. It sells for 145 US or 170 Canadian dollars and it comes unlocked. Before we check it out, please consider subscribing to my channel so I can make more videos. I've made a video about another Umidigi phone last year and honestly, it was a decent phone for the price. Let's see what this one offers. It comes in a rather stylish box with the model name and the specifications on the back. This is a way of cost cutting. They're basically using the same box for all their models. In the box, aside from the phone, you get a thank you note, some documentation, a SIM eject tool, and a charger. Before we go any further, I'd like to bring your attention to the thank you note. Sure, it says thanks to the customer for buying a Umidigi phone, but they also kinda congratulate themselves for building such a good phone at this price point. That is odd. The included charger is only rated at 10 watts, and the phone doesn't support fast charging. We'll talk more about battery and charging later in this video. It doesn't come with earphones, which is becoming more and more normal in this price range. The phone comes with a case and a pre-applied screen protector. I didn't realize at first that it came with a screen protector, so I accidentally took it off. The included case looks and feels a lot like the one that came with the Umidigi Power that I tested last year. It's a shame, because with the case on, it looks just like any other phone on the market. When you take off the case though, you'll realize that the back of the phone is just stunning. It's all glass and it's this beautiful blue color. There's also a fingerprint scanner here. The Umidigi X has a fingerprint scanner that's built into the screen, but not this model. The phone doesn't support raise to wake or tap to wake, but the fingerprint scanner works quickly and accurately, so all I need to do to wake up the phone is to tap the fingerprint scanner. Moving up, we have a quad camera setup, which is quite impressive. It seems like they just wanted to one-up the iPhone, and we'll see how it performs. The phone is quite thick, and I don't know why they wanted to make the size gray on a phone that's black in front and blue on the back. In front, we have a 2340 by 1080 IPS screen with a pixel density of 403. It looks a lot like the Umidigi Power in front. It has a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. It has better pixel density than the iPhone 11, and it falls behind the 11 Pro by only 10%. I couldn't find the brightness value online, but I can say that it gets quite bright. The colors are vibrant, and the screen definitely makes the phone feel more premium and expensive than it is. Overall, I think it's a great screen at this price point. The build quality is also great at this price. I couldn't see any issues. It has 2 SIM slots and a separate microSD slot. The Umidigi Power I tested last year had a SIM slot and a SIM/microSD slot. Moreover, unlike the Umidigi Power, the SIM tray isn't upside down. We have the volume buttons and the lock button on the right side of the phone. Especially with the included case on, it's very easy to press the wrong button. I wish they moved the volume buttons to the left side of the phone. On the bottom, we have a USB-C port as well as a headphone jack. I already have a pair of wireless earphones, so I don't really miss the headphone jack, but it's still nice to have one. There's a single bottom firing speaker and it gets reasonably loud. What it lacks, however, is bass. The 4150 mAh battery easily lasts 2 days in normal use. As I mentioned earlier, it doesn't support fast charging, and it takes over 3 hours for a full charge. It also doesn't support wireless charging. Let's check out the camera before we have a look at the specs. It has a quad camera setup on the back. The main and the wide-angle cameras are 16 megapixels, while the depth and macro cameras are 5. In broad daylight, the picture quality is very good, especially for a $200 phone. On the other hand, it's just not that great in low light. The autofocus doesn't work all the time, and it takes longer than usual to focus. I then tried the macro camera, and to my surprise, it worked splendidly. You need to be around 3 centimeters away from the object, and the pictures I got are quite sharp. There's a portrait mode as well, but it takes forever to start. Overall, the camera app is slow and it needs to be fixed. The front camera is also 16 megapixels, and it's great for a selfie camera. Both the front and the rear cameras can record 1080p at 30 frames per second. Let's look at the specs now. It is an octa-core Helio P23 processor, which is a processor from 2017. For comparison, the cheaper Umidigi Power I tested last year had a Helio P35, which is both faster and newer. The P23 is comparable to the Snapdragon 450. It also has 4GB of LPDDR4 RAM and 64GB of storage. There's a slightly more expensive model with 128GB of storage as well. It's perfectly fine for daily tasks like messaging, Facebooking, and phone calls. It stutters sometimes in Google Maps, especially when you first start navigating somewhere. Waze or other navigation apps work perfectly fine though. Video call apps work without a glitch too. I tried WhatsApp, Duo, and Zoom for video calls, and I haven't had a problem in any of them. It comes with Android 10 and it received one software update since I got it. I then proceeded to download games and I started with Asphalt 9. This is what made me realize that its Wi-Fi reception is horrible. Although rare, I've had occasions where it would completely disconnect from the Wi-Fi, and even when it's connected, the speeds are really low. It's significantly slower than any other phone I've used on Wi-Fi. I wasn't able to get more than 76 megabits even when I was right next to the router. Anyways, once all the games were ready to go, I gave Asphalt a shot. The first launch was slow, but the overall gameplay was quite smooth. I did 3 races and I've only had a couple of stutters. Speaking of Asphalt, they've finally made it into a game where you don't even have to steer. It does everything for you. In regular PUBG, the phone wasn't able to get more than 10 FPS. It seems to be getting around 30 FPS in PUBG Lite. In Call of Duty, the phone defaults itself to low settings and offers you a somewhat stutter-free experience. Moreover, as it has a big battery, you don't have to worry about the phone dying on you. With games out of the way, let's have a quick look at benchmarks. I was gonna start with Antutu, but apparently they removed it from the Play Store. In 3D Mark Slingshot Extreme, it managed to get 562 points using OpenGL and 628 points using Vulkan. I didn't know what to think of these scores until my iPhone got around 5500 points. In Geekbench 5, it got 154 in single core and 817 in multi-core. Again, I can only compare it to my iPhone, which got around 1350 in single core and 3300 in multi-core. I obviously didn't expect it to perform like the latest iPhone, but I just don't have the performance data for other phones. As an unlocked phone sold in Canada, it'll work with most providers in North America. It has LTE, but the speeds leave a lot to be desired. I was only able to achieve around 20 megabits up and down, while my iPhone gets around 100 down and 50 up. Overall, do I recommend this phone? And who do I recommend it for? My answer to the first question is yes. I actually do recommend this phone. It's not as fast as flagship smartphones, but it handles daily tasks quite well. It also looks great in my opinion, especially from the back. It has a big battery and a decent camera setup. This will make a great phone for people that don't play games on their phone. For people that don't expect their phone to be blazingly fast. And finally, I recommend this for people that want to have a great looking phone on the cheap. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking this video, checking out my other videos, and subscribing to my channel. Take care.